All right, hey everybody, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona, and today I'm with Tony G of Cabbage Coins. Tony, why don't you let the good people know a little bit about yourself real quick?
Yeah, Ben, thanks for having me. Tony Gryckiewicz. I have a business called Cabbage Coins. Started on Instagram, and I'm trying to venture into YouTube. I was fortunate enough to launch a little podcast a couple weeks ago. Ben saw it and asked me to join and do something on his channel too. So I'm super psyched to be here. And yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell. What I am. I'm a vest pocket dealer, but I'm also a retailer on Instagram as well as on eBay, of course, and things like Facebook. And I got a website and stuff. So
Yeah, well, so Tony and I have never met, and the fun thing about this is I actually, even though I'm not big on Instagram, for some reason, Tony, some of the work that he had done on Instagram caught my eye, and then I saw an interview he had done on YouTube, and then he'd posted on Instagram, that's why I saw it. And I saw that he'd been at the ANA summer seminar. And so it really sparked my interest. And I appreciate you coming on because today's topic is going to be very specific to the ANA summer seminar. Hot off the presses, you just got back.
yeah.
And tell me about, first of all, I might ask you a few questions you might not know the answer to because it's going to be like specific to this ANA summer seminars. First of all, where is it located and when does it happen?
So summer
And
seminar takes place every year except for, well, it was canceled for COVID, but every year in June. There's 2 weeks. There's two different sessions. There's session one, session two. It takes place in Colorado Springs. So it happens on the campus of Colorado College, and Colorado College is situated right across the street from the ANA headquarters. In case it's pretty cool headquarters. They've got a museum there. Museum is pretty dope. And so every year, I think they've been doing this. I mean, going back to like the 1950s or probably earlier than that. Possibly they've been doing this every summer. So it's an awesome experience. Highly recommend it.
so, okay, it's in Colorado annually every summer. That's why they call it summer seminar. For those of you who don't know, the ANA is the American Numismatic Association. So this is where all of us coin geeks can get together annually. What type of courses do they offer? Is it like and how long do the courses last and what's the vibe like?
Yeah. So the courses last. They start session on Sundays and they go through Wednesday, and then they have like a ceremony or like a banquet actually Wednesday night. I actually never attend the banquet because I'm always staying off campus, or I'm like in this case, I flew in and flew out. But anyways, there's two sessions. There's a session that goes from Sunday to Wednesday, and then there's a Colorado Springs coin show that takes place, which is actually
Oh,
usually a really really good coin show. Because a lot of the dealers and people that come in for the seminar end up setting up and doing the show. So it's a pretty large, pretty nice show. And then they do another session as well. In terms of the variety of courses, it's actually quite impressive, the variety of courses, because I was told about Summer Seminar many years ago. The first time I attended was in 2018 to attend a course on coin grading, so the basics of coin grading. Had a fantastic, phenomenal experience. I loved every minute of it. So I came back the next year for intermediate coin grading, and then a number of years had gone by. Got into this business, and I decided I wanted to come back to do advanced coin grading, and we just focused on problem coins, which is what this last session was. But they offer courses on everything from currency to world coins to, I saw a course specifically just on French metals. I mean, there
yeah.
was only like three or four people in the class. Not really my cup of tea, but they offer a lot of different types of courses. Everything from coin photography to coin dealing. Like if you want to get into this business, there was even an advanced coin dealing course. So
That's interesting.
the variety is quite broad.
What who do they have leading these classes? Like who's like I'm really curious about the coin dealing in advance specifically. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know offhand, but if
Yeah.
not, you can tell me about the courses you took.
Yeah, so the coin dealing, I believe advanced coin dealing was with Seth Chandler and
Okay.
with from Coin in San Francisco, as well as Rob Oberth from Atlanta Gold and Silver. I'm not exactly
Mhm.
sure the name of his shop, but he's the guy who runs our roundtable group for dealers.
Okay.
And so those two ran the advanced coin dealing class. I probably would have wanted to do that one if I didn't do the course that I was in. I heard a lot about it, heard a lot of really good things. I heard like, $110,000 gold octagonal pan pack coin was sold during the course, like live in the course, because they were talking about how do you sell this coin and what is the market strategies for trying to get out of it or try to place it with a collector. And I believe that one of the instructors bought it from the other one right there in class, which is pretty interesting. Um, but I took advanced coin grading, and that was with really three great instructors as well. So first one was Jeff Garrett. I think everyone knows who Jeff Garrett is. He's one of the authors of the Red Book, which is also called the Book of U.S. Coin. I don't know what the actual
Just,
copy of
I was going to say, it always should be within reach, right? Here is. Will this help you out a little
there
bit?
it is. Yeah, United States
Let's it's Red
Coins
Book.
2006. Yeah. So you see
Yeah.
Jeff Garrett there on the bottom. He's one of the authors of that. He's a pretty well known personality in this whole business and industry. If you watch Pawn Stars at all, which Pawn Stars, not to get off on a tangent here at all, but
No, you
that
can.
show is very near and dear to my heart. And it's one of the things that inspired me to get into this business and to get into coin dealing. But anyways, Jeff's been on Pawn Stars a few times, and he writes articles for NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, one of the major grading agencies. And then we also had Don Ketterling, who is been in the business for many, many years. He was the lead instructor. He does this, I think he does this every year. And then that guy named Ken Park, who has a coin business, and he used to be a former PCGS grader.
Yeah. Very cool. So then you did the first session. So there's two sessions. It's basically, and at first when you said that, I thought it was like morning and evening, but basically it's Monday through Wednesday, and then it's like Wednesday through Saturday.
Hmm.
So, and then, but
Exactly.
in the middle, there's something that ties them together, and it's a coin show.
Yeah, yeah. It's two separate sessions. So if you
Mhm.
wanted to, you could do two separate courses, and you could do, I don't know. In theory, you could do intermediate grading in session one, and then you could do the coin show, and you could go do advanced grading in session two. So they're literally two separate, like two semesters essentially. So you take separate
So,
courses.
so on the first session, second session, do they offer different courses, or is it a
They do.
repeat? It's
They
different.
often, well, some of the major ones, so basic coin grading, there's going to be offered. They usually offer that two separate sessions within the same,
Right.
sorry, two separate classes within the same session. So
Because it's a
there's like
popular course.
it's a super popular course.
Yeah.
I think it's what got this whole thing started. I think is the coin
Mhm.
grading side. Coin grading, it's a great course, especially session one, because as a basic collector, you need to be able to figure out the difference between, let's say, a business strike and a proof. That's a really basic, important distinction if you're ever looking at coins, to be able to recognize, well, this is actually a proof coin versus a business strike. So they teach you things like that. But they also have what's known as the A&A grading set, and the A&A grading set is a selection of coins in various grades and various types, so that you can get a feel for what does a fine 15 look like in cap bust halves, or you can get an idea of what some a $5 gold piece should look like an XF. So they have this set that they've been teaching from for decades that you use, and some people speak of it a little disparagingly. Like some of the professors speak a little disparagingly, like, "Oh, that set is so old, I don't want to see it anymore." But for a novice, for somebody who's fresh to the seminar, it's a fantastic set to work through and to learn coin grading. So yeah, grading one
Yeah, I
was
would
like
think
really
that's
good.
actually really neat that it's that old because there's a lot of talk about coinflation, and you know, sometimes it's hard to tell just how old a coin holder is, and even
Yeah,
if you find coins that would be raw, but they're in a dealer's old holder, it gives you some kind of vantage point of how people used to grade coins. But here you've got
yeah.
these coin sets that are literally, 4 or 5 decades old or older. So you know exactly what they consider to be a
Yeah.
fine 15 versus a VF20 versus.
Yeah, I would say that, and I might have misspoke earlier because I'm thinking about when coin grading started in the late 80s. I think most of the coins I remember seeing, they were kind of graded in like the mid 90s category.
Sure.
So that would be a couple decades. But
Understood. I mean, if we're talking about actual like NGC PCGS took off in
yeah,
86, whatever it was, so then understandably, if that was the topic du jour, then you would have been looking at those sets being put together probably around the same time period. But still,
yeah,
we're still comparing that generation of original coin certification with today's
Hmm.
standards. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
and yeah, and I find that to be pretty interesting. So how busy were those classes then?
Pretty busy. We had 19 students in ours, and this was advanced coin grading and problem coins. I believe that the undergrad the lower, the other
Lower
sessions,
class? Is that what you're going to say?
the
The lower
lower
class?
class, I guess you could just also
The
doesn't have a good
beginners, the
connotation
beginners
to it.
class.
Beginners
Yeah.
classes, yeah, they typically have, I believe, 20 25 students per class and two
Mhm.
classes, because you get to a certain size and it becomes unmanageable, because when you go through these classes, what they'll do is they'll pass out coins. You'll have a sheet, and you will, the whole room is dark, and you got little lights on too, and everyone's got their loops and their notepad, and you're grading the coins, and you're supposed to grade them for roughly, you're supposed to shoot for about 30 seconds. And an actual professional PCGS grader, they tell us, grades a coin within 10 to 15 seconds. And I'm assuming that is, on the lower end of that is stuff that they see all the time, 81S, Morgan Dollars, or, Silver Eagles or something. On the higher end is a later, higher end of that number would probably be some more difficult coins to grade, or some coins that have maybe some not apparent problems that you have to kind of like really search for and discover what is wrong with the coin. Anyway, you spend about 30 seconds per coin. You go through all the coins that they pass out. All the holders have, all the plastic holder slabs have little pieces of paper covering what the grade is, and you go through the entire batch, and then the class comes together, and we talk about every single one of the coins, and also, what at least our class is, we listed off what everybody graded it, which is really eye opening, because especially at the start of the class, people were all over the place about some coins. Some people were calling a
Yeah.
coin MS64, and the next person was saying that it was AU53, which is a vast difference in
Yes.
coin grade. And you hear all the people saying that this coin is, they had a details grade, and unk details cleaned, or some kind of a details grade, something wrong with the coin. So you're hearing all of this. And then as the course progressed, we switched the format into more of what's called consensus grading. And this is really more of what the grading services do, which is you get into smaller groups. You have a small set of coins. Everybody looks at the coin, everybody puts down their grade, and then there's a finalizer. And the finalizer, they selected from the first part of the class, when we were in a larger group. They selected basically the top three graders, the top three people in the class that were doing well, and they assigned them as being the finalizer of the small group. And then the finalizer would hear everybody's grade, and then they would make the final decision about what it's going to be. And then we would have one of the instructors sit with our small group, and we would then go over those coins. So yeah, you can't have a class that's way too big. It's just not going to be manageable. So I think they limit it to about 20 to
Yeah.
25 students per
Well,
session.
that walking through the grading process is fascinating, and I think that it's good to get your grades down first, then talk later. Because you can talk yourself into just about any grade, or you can, with two guys
Yeah.
together, you can start talking yourself into different grades and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but so now you said you've been going since 2018. So have you made a lot of friends over the years? You go every year, or what's it like?
Yeah. Well, I went 2018, 2019, and then paused, and I came back this year. So,
Okay,
uh,
it's been a few years, yeah.
yeah, it's been a few years. Only, I think the biggest reason for that is because I moved away. I used to live in Colorado, so it was really easy to do the summer seminar every year, and then I moved to Pennsylvania, and now it's a flight, and but I get to see some friends of mine who live in Colorado Springs, which is great. But on the topic of the courses, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways, and one of the real value aspects of the whole seminar is you end up meeting a lot of people, and you interact with them on a daily basis. You have lunch with them, you go out to dinner with them. We went out to celebrate one guy's birthday, 24th
Nice,
birthday.
nice.
um, so we went together to a restaurant. And so now when I see these people at coin shows, which, like, we got the fun show coming up, here this week. When I see these folks at coin shows, the relationship helps. I think helps business overall. Just knowing people, having that kind of connection and background, I think enables, just kind of helps
Yeah.
lubricate the gears of business, so to
Yeah,
speak,
I tell
versus
people all the time. Yeah, there's such a great value to lots of different events that you go to. When you go to a coin show, it's not just about buying or selling coins. You really have a chance to make relationships, and that can only, I think, bolster your skills, your abilities. You're right. When you go into a coin show cold, like if you if they dropped you off in, I don't know, Wyoming somewhere at a coin show, I don't know, Wyoming's too close to home probably, but if you're in a completely different region than you've ever been to, you might accidentally know a dealer. But then, when you don't know anyone in the room, it's actually a very different feeling than when you actually know
definitely.
three, four, five
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. It's this could be a whole subject of a whole different episode. I feel like is this subject the advantage or like what relationships bring to coin collecting, coin dealing, the importance of them. It is absolutely huge. But specifically with this seminar, my first grading seminar, I met two great guys. One named Gil, the other one named Eddie, and we were all in grading one together. Hung out during the course of that week. We then saw each other at the ANA World's Fair of Money. We hung out at the World's Fair of Money. We ended up creating some really great bonds. My buddy Eddie moved on to work for PCGS, and he does work today as a varieties expert at PCGS. And my buddy Gil, I recently had him on my channel.
Mhm.
He's operating, a coin shop, and he's been a really great kind of mentor and somebody that's given me a lot of insight about the market over the years. My second time at A&A grading, I did it with David McCarthy, if you know that name.
Mhm.
He works with Kagan's, but he's also very famous for being one of the major contributors to the A&A magazine, The Numismatist. And he's done a lot of research on a lot of early territorial gold, pioneer gold. I don't know what the right term is, pioneer gold or whatever they call it now.
Yeah.
But um, that was huge, and I've done business with David after the show. We have a lot of conversations when we see each other at major shows. He's taught me a whole lot about coins after the course. So, like these relationships, it's something. I don't know how to exactly describe it, but it could
Well,
take
I
a
mean,
number. Yeah,
correct. I think the value of humans is pretty high on in my book, right? Like as we move more towards computers, this is something that people who watch my channel understand this vibe. That I'm just like, look, the community. It's about the community. I mean, at the end of the day, we love collecting coins, but also it's so much fun. No one wants to collect coins alone, right? Like there's
yeah,
the stereotypical like you do what, and you're like off in the corner, you're some nerd or something, and then but you get to these events, and
yeah,
it's like just having the chance to talk to someone for whatever reason they collect
yeah,
for, because there's 100 reasons you can collect,
yeah.
but that relationship thing is big. So it sounds like
Huge.
one of the big takeaways from summer seminar is obviously the courses, but then it's like much more richer. It's much more rich than that once you get into the opportunity to spend time with other people who have the same
Yep,
interests that you
yep. It's a
do. Yeah.
huge aspect to it.
What now? What does it cost? What is the
The
summer?
cost, it can be a little pricey for, especially if you're going to stay on campus. But I stayed off campus. So I don't want to ball. I want to say it's about $800 to $1,000 to do just the tuition. I can remember mine was like 760. I think was my tuition for the week. And
Yeah.
then if you're going to stay
And
on campus, it's going to be additional for room and board. So
is it room and board because you stay on the college campus, right? It's like a dormitory. And
yes,
so,
yep,
like, if I remember right, it was a few $100 or something for the. I don't know. I'd have to look.
yeah. I
I
don't
shouldn't be
exactly
spitballing that.
remember. I
You know.
remember, but yeah. From what I've heard, if you can stay off campus, try to stay off campus.
Yeah.
Like try
Yeah.
to
I
stay in a
mean,
hotel.
no, no, no. It's funny. I actually did I was actually chaperoning at an event with a bunch of high school kids, and it was staged at a college campus. And I remember thinking, this is a great way to teach me as a parent. I don't want my kids to go to college. Basically, I was like, I think some training camp might be a little bit more glamorous than.
Yeah,
Anyway, long
yeah.
story short. So, um, obviously, you already said that you'd recommend this experience. What
Mhm.
other types of things? You mentioned the museum, which I have not been to, which really need to get to. What other types of, generally speaking, in the Colorado Springs area, do people go and do? Is there just hang out and eat, or is there like sightseeing stuff that you know about? Or
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great question. So you have a lot, and they offer, and the ANA actually organizes little like trips, little day trips,
oh, okay,
especially on the weekend between the two seminars. They have a number of them, so you can go up to Pikes Peak, which is the obviously the most famous thing, or the thing closest to the area. A group of friends and I, we actually went to Garden of the Gods one night
okay.
after. Yeah, after the seminar was over, one evening after class was done, we went over to Garden of the Gods, which is really about a 30-minute drive, maybe, from door to door to the parking lot. And then you can get out and you can walk around these incredible formations in Garden of the Gods. I mean, it's a very, very casual
I will say, if you're gonna name a park, the Garden of the Gods has got to be one of the best named parks. Now it sets the bar pretty high, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the
Yeah.
Garden of the Gods this weekend. What are you guys doing? You know, like
Yeah. So
what
there's also, I think they organize a trip to the Denver Mint every year as well,
oh, that's cool.
which is really
Do
cool.
you
Yeah.
think?
And
Now,
yeah.
do you know if they have any like extra access there or not? Being
I
what
was just
they,
going to mention, I think they offer some kind of additional access or special access to like the minting floor. Because I've done that trip by myself, just outside of the college, and it's pretty
you're just up in a
cookie
you're
cutter.
you're just up like on a catwalk. I've heard,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and
Exactly.
the original one, the one that they do now, you're only up on a catwalk and you see the facility from a distance.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as hands-on as as maybe a distillery tour. So
Yeah. Yeah. These guys aren't giving you, a taster or some whiskey at the end of it, but they probably give you a coin or two.
yeah,
I guess so. Possibly,
that, that that'd
it's
be
legal
fun.
to do that. I don't know.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well,
Um,
this has been, I think, very eye-opening for me. I didn't know about the coin show.
hmm
Um, and it's good to hear that there's kind of sounds like there's something for everyone, right?
hmm
So, um, did you have any other like thing that I didn't ask you about that you'd want to mention about the in general the ANA summer seminars?
I mean, I think I would just say that if somebody's on the fence about doing it, or they are just getting into coins, or even if they've been like in the hobby for a while and they feel like they're pretty confident, like with coin grading, um, it's incredible how much additional stuff you learn, how much you learn listening to the perspectives of people that were previous coin graders. You get an idea of like what type of essentials are required for a coin to achieve MS68. It's pretty important. I mean, the price jump, the value jump between 67 and 68 can be enormous. So being able to get the inside scoop from this person that is that did it for a living and so forth, that's pretty valuable. So if you're on the fence about going to making the investment, there's a lot of different ways of looking at it in terms of why it's valuable, and I would highly recommend just going for it. But in terms of the experience, my experience and so forth, I love it. If I lived there again, I would do it every year. There are guys that do it every single year, and like there was a guy in my classroom that had been going for 18 years straight. He just does
That's
the same course. So he just does the same course every year. He does the like intermediate coin grading every year.
yeah.
And
Well, I
this year
mean,
he did advanced. Yeah.
it's important, So, I mean, some of us are blessed to be able to have coins that we look at all the time, and so you kind of get a little bit of a muscle memory. But just talking to
Sure.
John Albanese about stuff, that very same thing that they start with at the ANA with basic grading, where they have a grading set. That's what they do at CAC, where they've got a grading set for stuff. This is what a five looks like. This is what a six looks like. It's
hmm
and I think generally an important thing for everybody to be able
Yeah.
to see. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, otherwise, it's like when would I have ever really created a friendship or relationship with Jeff Garrett? I mean, Jeff is like one of the most premium guys in the hobby. Very very important, very famous guy. He's got a huge business. If I go up to him at a show, we might do a transaction together, possibly, maybe have a short conversation. But having been taught by Jeff for all week and
Yeah.
interacted with him a number of times, he knows me, my name, and vice versa. Now I can approach him, at future shows. Again, going back to the relationship aspect of why the seminar is important, it's a unique and important opportunity to get a chance to do this kind of stuff with people. You create some incredible bonds. Really helps career, business, or just the hobbies, just collecting for those out there that are just
Yeah.
solely
Yeah.
collecting.
Everyone. Well, what's my other takeaway is just that this is everything for everybody, right? It's just from beginner to advanced. You'll always find something to take away from the NA seminar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Tony, I want to thank you for your time and for coming on. Appreciate it. It was good to be able to hear someone with some firsthand experience who also has a pretty broad array of, I like the fact that you've got, you're coming from a perspective of someone who has a business life, but you've been doing coins a while. And so I think that's a nice in between balance because you have that perspective of what it's like to be new, but also the perspective of what it's like to deal. And so I really appreciate your perspective. And if anyone wants to find you online in any format, how do they do that?
Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully, I don't know if there's gonna be like a link or maybe something in the
We'll
description
probably
or
put some links down in the description of the
okay,
show here.
cool. Yeah, find my channel, Cabbage Coins. I am nowhere near the level that Ben's at, but I'm aspiring to get there. I'm really just getting my YouTube channel started. So I do a lot of content on YouTube. I'm doing more, but primary platform is going to be Instagram. Just search me for me, Cabbage Coins on Instagram, and you'll see all of my latest inventory. I make content there, reels and pictures, and coins are for sale. You can always contact me through DM if you wanted to purchase something or to build a collection together. Reach out to me. So yeah.
Awesome, Tony. Thanks so much. And I'm sure sometime soon we'll cross paths in person.
Yeah, I look forward to it for sure, man.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.